So one of the things that was really, really helpful that I realized is that even though I had been air quotes trying to manifest something for, perhaps an extended period of time, being too stuck in the energy of like the wanting or implying the lack and being on the like the lack thereof implying, or well, the wanting implying the lack rather.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things for me, was actually embodying the having. And so that, like, if you're really trying to, be the person that has XYZ or whatever, that person is that person, and their thoughts are down the road, as opposed to living in the lack of that, or the absence of whatever that is, which would be through the wanting of it.
Yeah, I'm going to actually ask you, I haven't asked this to anyone else, but there's a spiritual element to this, and you have been in that work for a really long time. Can you sort of speak to the nature of that like spiritual element? Because I have some people that come in and they're like, well, I think I'm a beginner. And I'm like, it has really nothing to do with what level you're on, right? But how do you think that I convey these principles that might be different than some of the other like books or things that other programs maybe you've taken?
Well, I think you're always very thoughtful about not being like God, saying God, or, I think you always throw a variety of terms out there, which I'm sure speaks to different people. None of that has ever bothered me, so I may be less aware of it. But I do feel like it's, energy is a scientific term. So I think that's probably something why I also do some of the other work that I do, is that it is spoken through the language of science, which is more unifying than it is separating, right? So if you come at it from a religious perspective, you're naturally going to appeal to some people and turn other people off. But I mean, for the most part, you can't argue when you come from the language of science.
Yeah.
Which I would put energy in that area.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also think and I've said this to you before, but I also think you do an excellent job of, the idea of like, the just being was not a concept that was new to me, but that is such an esoteric thing to say. How on earth, and that had been said to me by someone else that we both know. But to have tools to be like, okay, that means like I need to cultivate a feeling, and that means that I need to like I feel like you actually give steps to what just being actually means. So for someone that is a chronic doer, it's like bridging the gap between, okay, doing's over here, being's over here. Here's how you like get over to that place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's awesome. How about if you were talking about this to someone else, just like describing the Mind Over Matter program, if you can remember, like just coming out of it and you were like, I took this program, what would you say about it?
Well, ironically, I actually did, between the first and second rounds, I actually did it like a small test myself of just like really, I think it's a really valuable process for people at any kind of transition in their life, whether they're looking at a business thing or family, or just kind of revisiting whatever their goals are, and not waiting for a certain time of year or whatever to do that, but then to see where they in that exact present moment are in alignment with excuse me, with what those goals that again may be old, maybe not even theirs, maybe so I think it gives a really tangible process for connecting where we are in the present moment to whatever goals we may have had at different points in life.
I love that. That's it. That's all I need.
Really?
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I literally did take this.
I love that.
So I don't know. I really do think, I know that sounds like, and I speak about it because I do that work as well, but like the commonality I think between you and for me, for Joe Dispenza, is the like, there's so much more energy or importance placed on the having and the feeling and the cultivating, that like the external condition the presence or absence of that doesn't really matter any longer. So it's like, who are you becoming in the process of perhaps going to that thing, but perhaps you just don't care anymore. And so I think that, I don't know, that's just probably one of my favorite pieces of it, I guess. And just the constant reminder of like, who are you being? And is that in alignment with what, I think I shared this with you as well, like something that I was saying that I wanted, and I found that my actions weren't in alignment with that. And it's like, oh, wow. Well, that was like, of course, this is not going to come through. And I was rereading when I was rereading my notes. And I remember you saying there was like one area of life that like, if you have this one thing, and it sounds like the conversation very much that we just had of like, this one piece is so heavy that and so deeply ingrained and entrained that it's blocking whatever else from coming through.
Yeah.
So I think there is so much power in the releasing of things. And I think you really tap into that. And I know that was something that I could have used. And I try to employ regularly now.
Yeah. Well, you've taken it twice, right? You took it
Yeah.
both,
Yeah.
and then this will be the third time we run it. So, you hear something different every time you take it, but that piece of it for sure. And the acceptance piece is going to be a bigger role this third time around for people. So, I think it's cool to see people that have taken it a couple times, like show up and give testimony to like, why redo it? Why retake a program? So,
Oh, I think it's something you could easily do at least twice a year.
oh yeah. Yeah. So cool. That's it.